Joining us now, Director of the Center for Political Studies at Cedarville University, Dr. Mark Caleb Smith. Let's dig into the three statewide issues. Let's start with issue one. First, it appears a majority of the voters tonight appear to be saying yes to creating a bipartisan public process for redrawing legislative districts. Help us understand what that means then for our state.
What it basically means is that both parties will now have some input in how we draw legislative boundaries. So every 10 years, based on census results, we typically redraw state house, state senate districts. This will mean that both parties will have something to say about it. Historically, the majority party would dominate that process. This will now require that at least the minority party has something to do.
And you said this has just statewide candidates, correct?
Yes, doesn't affect congressional offices, doesn't affect U.S. congressional seats at all.
But would do away with what's always been known as gerrymandering, at least to some degree.
To some degree, but the majority party could still win. But if they win, it would only take effect for 4 years instead of 10. So it does minimize their power just a little bit. All
right, let's move on to the big one tonight. Of course, the marijuana issues, really the two of them. It looks like issue 3 is going down in flames, no pun intended. You hate to second guess this, but was there a mistake combining the two, medicinal and recreational? Although I also heard from a lot of pro-marijuana people in the past few days that say, yeah, we're pro-marijuana, but we don't like issue 3.
Yeah, I think there are lots of mistakes made here. First of all, the issue is probably just too complicated. When voters look at something this complex on a ballot, their default is just to say no. The other issue, I think, as well, is that there's just this assumption that the people who are sponsoring are going to make a lot of money out of it. And so it seemed to be somewhat self-serving and about their financial interest, maybe more than it was about the policy itself. And so, as you said, even those people who support marijuana legalization didn't necessarily like this issue. Yeah.
Which then, let's touch on issue 2, which directly relates to issue 3, the anti-monopoly issue. That appears to be passing. Talk to us a little bit about what that now means. Should that pass?
What it basically does is it will remove voters' ability to use the Constitution of Ohio to construct these kind of monopolies around issues. And so, does it take a little bit of power away from Ohio voters? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it also removes some power away from large business interests that can use millions of dollars to manipulate the democratic process. And so, to some extent, I think it's probably a good outcome for the state.
All right, Dr. Mark Caleb Smith from Cedarville University, thank you so much for being here, providing some perspective
I appreciate it.
for us on this. All right, happy election night to you.
Thanks, you too.